Good morning, and welcome to your AIDailyPress morning podcast for May 30th, 2026. I'm your host, Walter. Firstly, in a significant development, the US and Cuba have held a meeting that could potentially mark a turning point in their relations. The talks, mediated by Pakistan, aim to bring an end to the ongoing conflict between the two nations. However, with tensions still running high, it remains to be seen whether this meeting will lead to a lasting peace or further escalation. In another part of the world, Iran and the US are engaged in high-stakes negotiations, with a proposed agreement hanging in the balance. The deal would involve Iran making concessions on issues like the management of the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for the lifting of US sanctions. However, with Iranian officials denying reports of major compromises and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu intensifying his military campaign against Hezbollah, the region remains on high alert. Meanwhile, in Mexico, the Senate has passed a constitutional amendment that includes foreign interference as grounds to annul election results. Critics argue that this bill could be used to give the ruling party a veto over outcomes it dislikes, sparking concerns about the integrity of Mexico's democratic process. The opposition has been critical of the proposed change, and the international community is watching closely as the bill moves forward. These are just brief summaries of the stories we're following. We'll continue to provide updates and in-depth analysis throughout the day. Now, for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
Thank you, Walter. We're covering several important stories today. Firstly, we have updates on the international front, including a potential US-Iran deal extending the ceasefire, Spain's prime minister facing increasing pressure due to corruption probes, and concerns over the stability of the government. Additionally, there's news about music legend Paul McCartney releasing a new album and various incidents such as the Blue Origin rocket explosion and a Russian drone attack on a Romanian building. In domestic news, Louisiana has approved a new congressional map that could allow Republicans to gain an additional seat in the House of Representatives. This move has sparked intense debate, with critics arguing it is discriminatory against minority voters. Lastly, we're following a significant development in the case against former FBI Director James Comey, where the lead prosecutor has withdrawn without explanation. Comey faces charges for allegedly threatening President Trump through a social media post. The withdrawal has raised eyebrows and fueled speculation about the reasons behind it. We'll continue to bring you updates on these stories as more information becomes available. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. Firstly, we're looking at the recent ETF flows, which indicate a shift towards assets that are poised to perform well in an environment of rising interest rates. Investors are turning their attention to broad market exposure, with notable inflows into funds like the Invesco QQQ Trust Series 1 and the Vanguard Total World Stock ETF. On the other hand, there's been a decrease in speculative bets in the semiconductor sector. In other news, President Donald Trump's personal investment in Dell has raised concerns about potential conflicts of interest. The company reported strong first-quarter earnings, with revenue jumping 15% year-over-year to $23.8 billion. Trump's public endorsements of Dell products and his significant personal investment have sparked criticism, particularly given the Pentagon's recent $9.7 billion contract with the company. Lastly, we're seeing a significant growth in Dell's AI server business, driven primarily by investor enthusiasm for artificial intelligence. The company's revenue from AI servers skyrocketed 50% year-over-year to $1.1 billion, and they expect this growth to continue. As we navigate these complex stories, it's essential to separate fact from fiction and avoid speculation. We'll be providing in-depth analysis and updates on these developing stories, ensuring our readers have access to accurate and unbiased information. Remember, don't panic, stay informed, and we'll guide you through the complexities of this evolving story. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, a recent study has shed new light on the formation and evolution of Mercury. revealing that asteroid strikes played a profound role in shaping the planet's surface. Scientists believe that comets and asteroids, rich in water and organic compounds, collided with Mercury, depositing their precious cargo and forever changing the planet's destiny. In related news, NASA's Messenger spacecraft confirmed the presence of massive deposits of water ice on Mercury in 2011. A new study proposes that a massive asteroid, approximately 62 miles wide, crashed into Mercury, generating a temporary atmosphere rich in water vapor that eventually settled in the permanently shadowed regions. Lastly, we're reminded of the importance of continued exploration and research into the mysteries of the cosmos. The European Space Agency and the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency are set to launch the Bepi-Colombo mission, which will become the second spacecraft to enter Mercury's orbit in November. This joint mission aims to gather more clues about Mercury's water ice deposits and provide valuable insights into the planet's mysterious past. As we gaze up at the stars, we're reminded of the infinite possibilities that lie before us, waiting to be uncovered, waiting to be explored. In the words of Carl Starman, somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. We have three compelling storylines to dive into. Firstly, we're seeing some high-stakes betting in the world of sports, with individuals putting their money on the line for significant potential returns. From a prescient parlay that could net a $10,000 return on a mere $5 investment to Steve Sarkisian's comments, sparking a heated exchange between Texas Tech and the University of Texas, the courage and conviction of these bettors are noteworthy. Secondly, in college football, the rivalry between Texas Tech and the University of Texas is heating up. The verbal sparring match between head coaches Joey McGuire and Steve Sarkisian has significant implications for conference realignment and competitive balance. This narrative serves as a reminder of the passion and dedication that define college football. Lastly, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles are set to take on the Virginia Cavaliers in the first elimination game of the Hattiesburg Regional today at 1 p.m. Both teams are looking to bounce back and stay alive in the tournament, with the winner moving on to face the loser of the game between Little Rock and Jacksonville State. These stories showcase the excitement and complexity of the sports world, from high-stakes betting to intense rivalries and competitive tournaments. Now, for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curel.
Thank you, Howard. Firstly, we reported on a tragic accident in Alaska's Denali National Park and Preserve, where 3 Latvian climbers lost their lives. Our thoughts are with their families and loved ones, and we wish the surviving climber, Martins Bilzens, a speedy recovery. We also shared a heartwarming story from Fort Worth, Texas, where Fire Station 29 took in a dog named Jake, whose owner, Tom Miner, was struggling with homelessness. The fire station's crew not only cared for Jake, but also extended a helping hand to Miner, providing him with essential supplies and arranging for dental care. Additionally, we covered a devastating incident on the East Coast, where a fatal accident claimed lives, although details of that story are still emerging. Lastly, we took our listeners on a journey through the rolling hills and scenic landscapes of small-town America, celebrating the beauty of everyday life, from the vibrant colors of spring to the warmth of summer sunshine. These stories remind us of the complexities and challenges faced by individuals and communities across our nation, as well as the resilience, kindness, and compassion that define us. We'll continue to bring you more stories that inspire, inform, and reflect the diverse tapestry of American life. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. I'm Joan, and today we're recapping some exciting stories from the world of entertainment. First up, we're saying goodbye to a legend in the film industry, Marcia Lucas, the talented editor behind iconic movies like Star Wars, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and American Graffiti. We're celebrating her remarkable legacy and the impact she had on paving the way for future generations of female editors and filmmakers. In other news, we've got a box office update for you. The Mandalorian and Grogu is taking a hit, with a projected 55% drop in its second weekend. Meanwhile, new releases like Backrooms and Obsession are killing it, with impressive opening numbers and tiny budgets. It's an interesting time for the film industry, folks. And finally, music lovers rejoice. Billy Joel has just released his landmark 100th Madison Square Garden residency show on Blu-ray and DVD. This must-have concert features all 27 songs, including some of his biggest hits that were cut from the original broadcast. With special guests like Jerry Seinfeld and Sting joining him on stage, it's a piece of music history you won't want to miss. Thanks for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Attenacher.
Thank you, Joe. Firstly, we reported on the tragic fate of birds caught in the illegal trade, with a focus on the devastating impact of human activities on bird populations. Our article shed light on the critical need for conservation efforts to protect these incredible creatures and their habitats. Secondly, we celebrated the remarkable story of Earl Grey, a rare hybrid sea turtle who was released back into the wild after being equipped with a tracking device. This heartwarming tale showcases the dedication and expertise of conservation teams working to protect these incredible animals and highlights the importance of preserving biodiversity. Lastly, we explored a groundbreaking discovery that suggests pigeons may be using their liver to navigate their way home, challenging our current understanding of animal navigation. This fascinating finding has sparked significant interest within the scientific community and reminds us of the awe-inspiring complexity and diversity of life on Earth. These stories not only highlight the importance of conservation efforts, but also demonstrate the incredible adaptability and resilience of wildlife. As we continue to explore and learn more about the natural world, we're reminded of the need for compassion, curiosity, and dedication to protecting our planet's precious ecosystems. And that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Attenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.